So let's go there. We'll go to Fox Weather hurricane specialist Bryan Norcross. He's at the conference, and with him, Dr. Phil Klotzbach, Colorado State University senior research scientist and the lead author of this forecast. Bryan, clearly it is that time of the year, not a forecast that looks like last year, but still above average.
Yeah, it is slightly above average, and yes, we're here at the National Tropical Weather Conference in South Padre, which is a great opportunity because it's not a giant conference like thousands of people like some weather conferences. This one you really get to talk to the folks here, and Dr. Phil Klotzbach, my old friend, and who is heading up this project, taking it over from the inimitable Dr. Bill Gray, who started it. And I think it, you talk a lot about Bill. I mean, his legacy in this field is incredible. And before we talk about this year, talk about what it was that he noticed that kind of set him on this path that you could actually anticipate what was going to happen in the hurricane season.
Yeah, so Dr. Gray, who is my mentor and basically founded the seasonal forecast, discovered that there was a relationship between El Nino and Atlantic hurricanes. He figured when you have El Nino conditions, you tend to get fewer hurricanes in the Atlantic. So that kind of got him thinking, because he said, okay, we can kind of predict El Nino. That gives us some idea of being able to predict a hurricane season months in advance, which at that point in the early 1980s was basically groundbreaking discovery. And so we started doing these seasonal forecasts all the way back in 1984. So this is the start of our 42nd year of doing seasonal hurricane prediction.
All right, so you start with the El Nino, La Nina. In the last couple of years, we've had, last year we had this La Nina, which is the opposite, encouraging hurricane activity, why the forecast numbers this time of year were so high, right? And then you also have the temperature of the water in the Atlantic. In the last few years, it's been boiling in the Atlantic, but it's not that way this year on either end. So let's talk about the Pacific, the El Nino, La Nina first. The anticipation is that it's somewhere in the middle, I guess.
That's correct, yeah. So right now we have a very, very weak La Nina, but it looks like it's really on its last legs, and we're probably going to be moving over to what we call neutral conditions, which means neither El Nino nor La Nina. We do expect for August through October, our best bet is that we'll probably have neutral conditions. So again, neither El Nino nor La Nina, but also the Atlantic is still warmer than normal. Thankfully not as warm as last year at this time, but it's still warmer than normal, and that still provides somewhat more fuel than normal for the hurricanes.
When we have this neutral condition in the Pacific, that doesn't really tell us much about the hurricane season, right? Because we have historically neutral years that have a lot of storms and historically neutral years that don't have that many storms. Is it kind of a 50-50 thing, or where does that, is there some indication of what a neutral condition might portend?
That's correct. So in neutral years, you can kind of see you can basically run the gamut from very busy to very quiet. And so then really what's going on in the Atlantic really does matter a tremendous amount. So right now the Atlantic's a little bit warmer than normal, which is why the seasonal forecast is for a somewhat above normal season. But obviously that's what we're going to monitor both in what's going on in the Pacific to see if there is a trend towards maybe a stronger, maybe headed back towards La Nina, maybe headed towards El Nino, or if the Atlantic were to either continue to cool down relative to normal, so maybe more back towards average, or if it gets super warm like it was last year, then the forecast would go up.
So what do you think about the fact that the Atlantic to the east of the islands is about normal-ish, right? But the Caribbean and the Gulf are still very warm. And some years, things really develop on our side of the Atlantic, and so they might not get held back that much. I mean, what's your thinking in terms of because it's not totally clear-cut, right? This really is a divided thing, and we hate to see storms in the Caribbean and especially in the Gulf when it's super warm because we know they're likely to hit land.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, especially in the Atlantic, that can change this time of year. You still get a lot of interaction between the mid-latitudes and the tropics, so we could see potentially still big changes in what those water's temperatures look like relative to normal. Also, the subtropical Atlantic, so just off the coast of West Africa, is still very warm. That tends to lead to lower pressures there, which tends to lead to weaker winds blowing across the tropical Atlantic, which potentially could mean that the waters right off the coast of Africa could also warm. But yes, obviously, if storms are forming in the western Atlantic, like we saw a lot of last year, that's not good because those storms forming in the western Atlantic are obviously probably going to make it not a good day for somebody.
Yeah, so if it's windy coming off of Africa, that tends to churn up the Atlantic, so that's what makes it cooler. So in the Pacific issue, when it's slightly La Nina, is that La Nina, or does it have to really, get, so La Nina is cool water in the Pacific. Does it have to really get cool, or if it's just slightly cool, can it really act like a La Nina?
It can, and a lot of it depends on how the temperatures are in the tropical Pacific Ocean relative to the rest of the tropics. So if the rest of the tropics is really, really warm, for example, last year the rest of the tropics was very warm. Pacific was a little bit cooler than normal, but relative to the rest of the tropics, it was pretty cold, and we saw a more, I would argue, a more pronounced La Nina-like signal than you would have looked at if you just looked at water temperatures in that one box.
Right. Yeah, it's the relative temperature that can count because that can drive the weather. So it's going to be an interesting year, and uncertainty is always high in April and maybe a little higher than normal this year. Ian?
Very interesting conversation right there. Two heavy hitters in our field talking tropics. It means the new season's coming just a little bit less than a couple months out now. Fox Weather hurricane specialist Bryan Norcross and Dr. Phil Klotzbach. Both of you enjoy the conference. We're looking forward to hearing all about it. Thank you.